Bonfire Premier Cup Series. This is your admin, Kevin Kyle, and I am proud to introduce to you your Season 12 primary sponsor, Animal House Customs. Get your favorite iRacing League logo or anything you can dream of on any hat or patch. Animal House Customs has a stitch for every itch. And in order to scratch that itch, visit animalhousecustoms.com or you can call Animal House Customs at 985-222-8065. Once again, that's 985-222-8065.
Let's go racing. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bonfire Race League Sunday Premier Series. It's week 10. This is it, the regular season finale where all the coins are counted. You're rifling through the couch trying to find out how much change you got, and then you're going to find out that it's David Medina with all the change. 12 drivers gonna make the playoffs. It's gonna be figured out today. We're here live at Talladega Motor Speedway for the regular season finale. It's Mean Gene Money. We got Zach Panzarella. He's running down the hall right now. I see a piece of toilet paper attached to his shoe. He'll be in here in a moment. We got the drugstore cowboy Dalton Geyer, and Jared Kelly Showboat is our producer. Did he make it? I see him coming in. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing good, Mean Gene. Excited to be here at Talladega, an iconic racetrack. We're going to have a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of close racing, and a lot of intensity here today. Nothing like this place.
I can't wait to see what happens. Zach, let me just get that little piece of toilet paper off of your shoe. Oh, all right. Yep, and I'm going to need a little bit of a wet wipe as well. All right, we are good to go. Zach, I'll tell you what, bud. You have taken us through this thing race after race after race. I mean, what are you thinking now that we're here?
Oh man, I mean, it's winning time now for these guys. It's the last race, like you said, before the playoffs start. So these are these guys' last opportunity to have a chance at this championship. And you really couldn't ask for a better track where really anyone has a chance to collect the points they need. No win, you're in, like we've talked about so many times in this league. So it really does come down to executing this race. And if you have a chance at it, so many people do, with such a tight points battle, it's really going to be a matter of just trying to stay alive till the end of this thing. We know how messy a Talladega race can get.
Oh, can't wait to see those feelings get hurt. And we've brought the human calculator as well, Dalton Drugstore Cowboy. Apparently, Dalton, you're the mathematician for DDI racing quite often.
Oh, I don't know about that. I get pretty lucky with those fuel calls, with those cautions, but nonetheless, I'm here today with you, ready for some exciting racing here at Talladega.
Well, I see you got your shoes off, so you're ready to count backwards. I mean, you can at least go up to 20, and these guys are going to do what? Maybe 27? How many laps do you think you can get out of fuel here on a green flag?
You know, it depends how much fuel they start with. I'm actually not sure on those numbers, but if they have the full NASCAR sanctioned fuel tank, yeah, they can make it probably 30, a little over 30, but yeah, if they're running a shortened, smaller tank, yeah, it's probably going to be around there in the high 20s.
And hopefully we won't see those parade laps like the actual Cup boys put on for us last year in October at Talladega when we saw them running 4 wide at 70%. Hey, let's talk about last week, Zach. That was a pretty crazy race, right? Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We saw Kyle Lynott come through with the W, but there was a little bit of incidents going on there as well, right?
Yeah, Indianapolis was a wild one for sure. We definitely saw one of the more wild races you're going to see at that racetrack. And yeah, Kyle Lynott coming from the rear all the way to the front to get the win in the end. Different tire strategies really dictating who was successful in that race. And just so much going on there with so many different cautions and so many different opportunities to put yourself on an alternate strategy. Today, I'm expecting, I think if we do see anything like that, it's going to be with fuel and not so much tires. But it's always possible at Talladega, depending on how many cautions you get. But I do think we'll still could have some leftover hurt feelings from last week. I know a lot of drivers didn't have the performance they were hoping for at a track they really like. So, I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot of stuff lingering over from Indianapolis of last week.
Well, there can't be too many hurt feelings. We had 32 drivers on the track at Indianapolis last week. This week, 33 I'm sorry, 36, 33. I can't read my own handwriting. So still more drivers this week than we had last week. So clearly, even if those feelings were hurt, they got over it quickly as they're going to find themselves lining up here today. We're still running qualifying right now. Looks like old Joey Stiers in that 23 is
Yeah, that's a
running
bizarre
up at
time.
the top. That is a what is that? 5 seconds fast? I'm not sure how that works.
32 seconds faster. So something's wrong there, me and Gene.
Well, he's the quickest man in the history of Talladega.
Yeah, that's about
Um,
400 miles per hour.
yeah, Paul Ferdiani. Let's say he's the legit top guy here in qualifying right now. 53.69. Joe Volpus up there as well. Hey, look, the rookies popping up as well. I can see Smith and Rose. So a couple of
Look at
rookies
that.
trying to do something in qualifying. 4 minutes and 50 seconds of qualifying left as we are getting ready. 36. It was a 36 today. Woo, that is insane, Zach.
That's a huge field, me and Gene. You love to see it.
I mean, there
So
was only,
often,
what, 13? 13 last year?
13 last year, and that is crazy. Because I was gonna say, usually you see the plate tracks bring out the big fields, right? Anyone has a chance to win this thing, so usually worth showing up for pretty much everyone. So to see it go from 13 to 36 is truly beautiful. That is 3 times the amount of people. So how cool is that?
No, I think it's a testament to the management style of Kevin Kyle taking over as the admin for the league. Right now, looking out on the track, there's Kyle Lynott. Kyle's kind of on the hot seat for this playoff situation. Remember, 12 guys are going to make it. There is no win and you're in. So his result last week for Kyle doesn't really mean too much as far as advancing to the playoffs. But as I'm looking at the points right now, Kyle is what 15th coming into this thing.
Yeah, that's so crazy. You can get that win, and that's still not enough to guarantee yourself in the playoffs. I'm sure it's such a foreign feeling for so many of these guys. So many of these leagues that we compete in, you get that one win, and you're guaranteed in the playoffs, right? And you get to kind of relax for the rest of the season. But not here. Lynott coming straight off of a win, and still gonna need a good run today to get himself in those playoffs. Think
And
it's
look at this
possible.
guy. Look at that. He's brought that jabroni to help him. Jax
Ugh,
Duvall,
he brought a
MRL guy.
mercenary. Yep.
Yes, this guy with 0 runs, gonna bring his gold fish sticks in his mouth, and he is gonna start running today. Jax Duvall, also known as the Florida Man on many leagues. He is a close friend of Kyle Lynott and all those Gulf Coast racing boys. So you know Jax Duvall is here with one thing on his mind.
Yep, and they specifically work really well together on these tracks, Mean Gene. We've seen it in MRL so many times. So it definitely doesn't hurt to have a Jax Duvall here to help you out. I mean, we saw on Thursday the power of a teammate and how important that can be. Even not at a plate track. We were in Vegas on Thursday, and it was a teammate who helped our winner get it done. So it's you take it where you can get it, right? And that's going to be a valuable helper
Well, that
for
was
our
my
for
philosophy when I
Talladega.
was in the Marine Corps at a bar late at night. But here on Talladega in race 10, I don't know. You want some stability on that track. So going to be interesting. Also, how about this, Zach? A rumors going around that the admins are going to limit the number of drivers to 4 that can be in a Discord channel at the same time.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that.
Starting next year because I'm looking right now. It looks like Gulf Coast Racing has like 8 or 9
15.
guys in theirs. Folcom's got about 11. I'd hate to be a 3-man team right now.
Me and Gene, I love that. That's another thing that our other league does a lot. At Vegas, what was it, like 15 or 16? And
Yeah.
one Discord. And I mean, yeah, well, we can get more into that later in the race. But we have our qualifying, or is that that's our standings? I'm sorry, up on the screen right there. So going into today, we have Medina, Kelly, Landry, Brenner, Volpus, Owens, Malarkey, Kyle, and Milliken. I think that group probably looking pretty good. Milliken, I would say, might be a little bit nervous with his 235 points. This point on, me and Gene, this is really who I think we'll be paying a lot of attention to today. And this is Chris Smorrell, Steve Neal, and Zach Engel. Those 3 are above the cut line. So everyone here below here is looking to have a good enough run to get ahead of one of those 3 guys. And that's going to be Ricky Mandela Sr., Tommy Fox, Kyle and Knott, David Buell, Edward Peltz, Matt Schofield. I think any of those guys with the right run today could sneak their way in the playoffs. Mean Gene, what do you think?
You know what? Also, I want to give a shout out to Ricky Mandela right there. He has secured Rookie of the Year. His
Oh,
previous
very cool.
finishes and with the points he's accumulated, Ricky is the hottest rookie. So if he could make his way into the playoffs, he would be representing this large rookie class. So congratulations to Ricky Mandela Jr. He is the season 12 Rookie of the Year for the Premier Cup.
Huge congrats to Ricky. That's a really cool accomplishment. He deserves it. We've seen him in the top 10, top 15 since day one of this season. So that is really cool for him to lock that up in our regular season today, knowing that he's going to have that. It can only go up from there, right? But man, these points are tight. If you're, let's just say, Tommy Fox, Dalton, what is your game plan today?
Well, I'll tell you what. If I'm anybody, I'm going for that win. Honestly, I
Hmm.
mean that's the only way you really guarantee your spot. And we were at the Brickyard last week. This week, we're gonna see whose house is made of bricks, whose house is made of straw. Because that big bad wolf, he's blowing. He decides who makes the playoffs.
That is so true. So true. And yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those races today with such a big field, guys, where I do think that is the call. I talk about it a lot in these broadcasts. My strategy normally is to just kind of hang back, chill until it's go time. But man, with the field this big, I don't know if that's going to be an opportunity or if that's going to be a choice you have. And speaking of such a big field, let's go through it today. Our pole sitter, Paul Ferdiani, with his first pole of the season, I believe. So congratulations to him. Dave Medina, doesn't matter where we go, this dude knows how to put it on the front row. Second place for him. Volpus will be starting third. Matthew Smith, fourth. Joey Stiers in fifth. Gerald Rose with an amazing qualifying effort, the best of the rookie season right there in sixth place. Jared Kelly, seventh. Jack Staval in eighth. Jason Landry, ninth. And Justin Malarkey rounding out our top 10.
Gonna have Kevin Kyle. He is going to start in 11th. Ricky Mandela Sr. 12th. Nate Maurer 13th. Zach Engel needing a big day today. Going to start in the 14th position. The number 12 of Dennis Puckett is in 15th. Richard Leclerc is in 16th. Brandon Shelton 17th. Also needing a good run today to get into the playoffs. Chris Smith 18th. 19th Michael Sarah. And first-time participant William Hewitt. Welcome to the league. He's going to start 20th. And that is your top 10 rows.
And then we got Edward Peltz, 21st. Kyle Lannott over in 22nd place. Mark Dumont, 3rd. Chris Smorrell, 24th. Michael Benton, 25th. Jake Akey. Gonna get that right today, I promise. Or it's a Shea. Jake Ashay. Jake Ashay.
Sorry, Jake.
Jake Ashay in 26. I'm gonna say Ashay all day in my head. David Brenner, 27th. Owens, 28th. Chattery, 29. And we are officially at the cars who did not put in a time. Medina, Schofield, Pierres, Skirwick, Fox, Pfeiffer, and Neal, rounding out a 36-car field with about.
What was David Owens doing? What was David
not-
Owens doing in qualifying?
Was he? I don't. did he put in a
1.7
time?
off the pace.
What was he doing in qualifying? So it was one lap, maybe, not realizing that you need the full first lap to get to speed here at Talladega. But David Owens, nonetheless, going to have a lot of ground to make up in this race. As you see these guys around Talladega, and the first thing that always sticks out to me when I'm watching these pace laps,
It's that
guys.
beautiful Pennzoil car in the third row.
Usually it's wadded up by now, but actually it's the amount of I hate you, Mitch. It's the amount of room you have to race here. It's the lanes, right? You're seeing these two lanes as they pace or as they line up, and you just see the top of the track and all that room they have, right? Like when we're at somewhere like New Atlanta, you're just looking at the pace laps like, where are these guys gonna go? But at Talladega, it's such a playground.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. This many cars, and it is fun to see a rookie like that up in sixth place. But guess what? You got a rookie at the front of the field, and if this thing goes 3 wide, we've already seen many a rookie have trouble keeping it straight. Veterans have trouble keeping it straight. And if you get a tap at the wrong spot, going into a turn, or heck, we saw Puckett get spun at Indiana on a straightaway.
Yes, we
So
did.
there's no guarantees that these cars are going to stick straight, and then you add into a rookie being up there, that'll make you a little nervous, I would say.
Oh yeah, it definitely can. And there we go, as the pace car getting ready to pull off as we do war here at Talladega, and you are right, Mean Gene. This is one of those tracks where anyone can qualify well and really anyone can run well, and that just adds to the nervousness with all these guys. But it was the pole time for Ferdiani. It is go time here in the MRL, and it's show time here at Talladega at the BRL. Let's do this thing as we get to the Geico restart zone, and Ferdiani leads them off to green with, wow, great run by Medina on the outside. Already going to try to capture the lead with that outside lane being pushed. And we'll see if he tries to hit the inside here, Mean Gene, as they go into turn 1 and 2 here at Talladega.
Side by side racing all the way back. That's what we like to see. Little bit of a checkup on that outside lane, but they managed to hold it straight. Vulpes on the inside, hard push. Joey Stiers under the apron. That's that 23 McDonald's car. He's fading back, giving that outside row the opportunity to just push it to the lead. Medina, Smith, Rose, Duval. That's that outside lane. And then below that inside lane, trying to make it work, coming out of turn 4.
Yes, and wow, you are right, Mean G. Joey Stiers right away saying, you know what? I don't want much to do with this. I'm going to go to the back, and I'll see you guys in about 20, 30 laps. Just really, really trying to protect that race car and maybe not liking the vibe he saw right away. So far, so good, though, as Dave Medina going to lead the first lap here at Talladega in the BRL. This guy all season has had that speed. I'm pretty sure he's led a lap in every track, every place we've been to this year. So no different there. But Ferdiani trying to regroup that inside lane with Vulpes push him down the backstretch.
David Vulpes, heck of a good partner to have behind him. Michael Smith also trying to make work. That inside lane, third car, going to be the 55 of Jared Kelly. Behind him, you can see Landry, a couple of race course masters. Outside lane having trouble falling apart. Rose loses it. He's going to just fade backwards now. Up front, though, you got 5, 6 cars. Could be single file. And it looks like Kevin Kyle might be odd man out down on that bottom lane.
We're already starting to see what we're probably going to be calling alliances form or group up together. People have already been talking about this, Mean Gene. And what I'm talking about is that 55 and that 56 of Landry and Kelly, people who we know are good friends. They have found each other in 3rd and 4th place, working together to make that inside lane kind of move away from that outside lane quite a bit at this point. Look at that. Medina was leading just a lap or 2 ago, and now all the way back outside the top 5, kind of isolated, just getting pushed by one car there, the 96 of Matthew Smith. They're going to need some help there as they have the 2 trying to help them out right there, Brandon Shelton, but they're going to need a lot more than that with how non-selfish that inside lane is being right now.
Well, those first 24 cars tried to make a breakaway, and then you could see now David Owens getting a push, pushing David Brenner, trying to close that gap. So that first group with a break, but now look at them, all the way single file back to Justin Malarkey and Rose with a slight lead. Duval leading that next group. Single file racing, that front group's going to be a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I think they're going to be quite a bit quicker, Mean Gene. I mean, we're going to have to see how big of a lead they form. And as you can see right there, David Medina having no such patience in terms of this middle or inside lane, not really wanting to do that right now. We talked before this race started about, I forget what we call it. I call it a choo-choo train of when we just get one car or one lane going and a lot of cars just kind of wanting to hang out and wait till later in the race. As a racer, sometimes it's kind of what you want to do to protect that track position, but us in the booth and you watching at home, but we want to see that racing. So hopefully with these guys get a little bit more impatient as we continue to go. I like what I'm seeing from Medina and Shelton, not satisfied to hang out in that inside lane, wanting to collect positions while they can. And you can see how hard those pushes are up top to try to maintain that and make sure that they can even stay with that top lane. So much work you have to do up there.
Meanwhile, look who's together, not a surprise. Jax Duval and his buddy Kyle Lynott. They're trying to catch up on that lead group. 13 cars in that lead group. They could have pushed away choo-choo train mode, but instead Puckett and his buddy Shelton going on the outside, and then Malarkey. That's the 3 cars that you see 5 back in that front row, trying to make that outside lane work. That front group has 13 cars in it, but with those 3 on the outside, that slows them down, and you can see just how quickly Duval, Lynott, Edward Peltz, Dumont are closing with that second group. And I think at this point, they are one big opportunity missed by that lead group, I think.
I completely agree, Mean Gene. I completely agree. I think
if Medina would have stayed in line, but look what it's done for him. He's suddenly on the 4th row outside with 4 buddies now is Puckett out there. They could have pulled away, but what did they catch up to? A Shea maybe? So now that lead group is 20.
Exactly. So it really is kind of prioritizing your race. You saw it kind of not work out for Medina, but at the same time, if I'm Medina, what I'm thinking in my head is at least I'm leading this lane, right? If you are a Landry right now, 4th is the best that you're going to get. You're kind of content in that inside lane. The outside lane has already passed you. So you're kind of stuck there. I like that idea of Medina or Shelton to be like, I'm more concerned about where I am in my lane. And I'm going to do what I can to get that thing up front. And that's going to be my position. So that's kind of the strategy you'll normally see someone like me go with when I'm trying to get positions here is I just want to get as far up in my lane as I can. But again, those alliances that we're seeing form me and Gino that we knew would be here. Another one, a Duvall and Lanat. Now they are separated. One on the inside, one on the outside. Oh my gosh, and there's our contact. Peltz into the inside. And no caution yet. I don't see anyone around, so that may leap. And yellow, I believe, will be coming out. Here it is out. No yellow. I'm sorry. No yellow. We're staying green. And oh, man, Dalton, how brutal is that when you get caught in an incident like that and you lose the draft inevitably?
Yeah, that's just the worst. And, I feel the worst for the guys that do the right thing and they check up, they get on those brakes just a little bit to avoid that incident. And, they're still losing the draft just like as if they were in it. And they don't get that caution to pull back up to that main pack.
Yeah, I'm hearing from the 251. He's got some wheel damage from that contact with Peltz. Looks like 3 minutes of damage, and you can see how quickly he's looting that lead group. Duvall and Lanat coming in behind him, but 3 minutes of damage from him. Peltz also taking damage. Jax Duvall pushed him a little bit too hard. They checked up. Duvall got into the back of Peltz, causing the contact.
Yeah, I see Peltz below the apron now. I'm assuming he's going to bring it in. That one happened so fast, guys. I'm not entirely sure who else was in it. I think the 117 of Leclerc was in it. I see him much further down in the field than he was before, so I'm assuming he was. I don't see too much damage on that race car as we see the front of the field here, still with 2 lanes, and I think that won't be the last time we see that today, guys. A push gone wrong by some guys unfamiliar with one another, Peltz and Jax Duvall specifically in that scenario right there. All too often, you have guys like Jax who are very good pushers, but man, it takes some getting used to, doesn't it, guys? We both have shared the track with that 84 Duvall. We know how hard those pushes can be.
Well, sometimes you don't know what's in the sack you get. You think it's one thing, and then turns out there might be some fentanyl laced in there. He's from Florida. So I think the Jax Duvall pushes are going to bring something a little bit extra every time. All right, so back up front, though, Paul Ferdiani still making it happen. Back in the lead, Joe Volpus behind him, Jared Kelly. Outside lane, you can see Kevin Kyle trying to make it work. He's got his Folcom teammate Medina and Shelton as well. So outside lane, they're all in that same chat. The 56 of Landry on the inside. So going to be interesting to see what play these guys make. Volpus up there by himself as far as Gulf Coast Racing goes. And look at that. We do have a firm break off after that damage that occurred with the Peltz contact into Rose after the Jax push. So now we can see clearly a 12-car breakaway.
Yeah, and really what that does all too often, guys, is it makes it so it is that much harder to bring out a caution. No guaranteed cautions in this race with our with the stage, so this could be it. And with a lot of single file lanes and a lot of these groups, even with the 36 car field, a lot smaller than they obviously were to start the race. Kind of looks like we have about 3 or 4, I think about 4 groups of cars now. It's going to make it a little more difficult, but definitely not impossible to bring out that caution. And speaking of sacks, Mean Gene, I totally thought you were talking about Santa. And I was like, oh, cool, we're talking about Santa's sack and getting a lump of coal, even though it's March. But no, fentanyl.
I think you might be right, though, because the Peltz and Rose were talking about Duvall, and I heard him say, ho, ho, ho. So perhaps that is what was happening. All right, so you can see there's a 10-car group in that third group. You've got the initial 12, then you've got the 3 with that one damaged car having trouble, and then there's 10 more. I think we're going to see those 10 cars, that group being led by David Brenner. I think we're going to see that group of guys end up closing up on those 3, and hopefully that will give Lanat and Jax the opportunity to get away. You could see the 251 fading.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna
those
say
two
that.
cars of Lanat, especially Lanat being in the point, needs to hook up with this second group. And I have no doubt, especially since that group is being led by David Brenner, with David Owens being the third car in that third group, that group of 10, I think they're going to pick up their buddies.
Yeah, that 251 really in a precarious position right now of Gerald Rose because he's having a really hard time sticking with Lanat and Jax in front of him. Definitely do the damage, but then behind him, he has a group of, about 9 or 10, and he's going to have a decision to make when those two groups inevitably form together. Can Rose kind of try
Hopefully
to
it'll be
maintain
don't
that
get in
draft?
the way. The
Yeah.
choo-choo is coming. Don't be
Is
on the
coming.
track.
But you also want to stay close enough to hopefully try to cling onto that draft. Rose doing everything he can to stay in the lead lap here and really doing a great job. I'm sure that thing is not fun to drive, but oh boy, this will be a big moment here as that field catches him.
All single file. The front 10 still in single file. Here we
they
go.
are.
Brenner
Oh.
and Owens shooting around the outside. The 23 is Stiers. Remember, he pulled out of that lead group, went down below the apron immediately to get away from all of that foolishness. Here comes Mark Dumont. What will happen? Dumont going to go around the top. The 24 of Hewitt. Good clean racing here as these guys are making their way around. Here comes Mandela as well. A little bit of
251 doing a
side
great
draft.
job.
No wrecks.
Yep,
No wrecks.
being predictable, maintaining his lane, doing a great job. And look at that. By staying on the inside, it looks like he may be able to maintain this draft and be able to become part of this group and stick
Who's the owe a
with the
thank you
field.
to? Looks like he owes Christopher Samoro a thank you.
He does.
As Samoro got behind him and started to push him.
He owes Samoro one big thank you because that means his race is not over. And
Now
Dalton,
let's
man,
see how much it slows that group, though, having that damaged car in there.
I mean, it's
Is
really
that
just
a
a matter of
thing?
where you put him. If you can hide him in the middle like that, Mijin, I think you can get away with this.
What do you think, Dalton? I mean, a damaged car, even if he's in the middle, is that still going to slow that group down, or can you get away with it?
I think for sure you can't be leading. For sure, probably not going to want to be pushing. But yeah, I think as long as you can hold on to the tail, it shouldn't have too much of an effect on the overall pack speed.
We'll have to keep an eye on the dynamic of it. Look up front. Oh, and that's unfortunate. You can see
that's Peltz.
early recipient of the accident, Peltz, getting ate alive by that
Ugh.
lead group.
So unfortunate for Peltz, and just not much you can do about that. Right
He got
there.
taken to
and
Florida.
He did. Not far from here in Alabama. And yeah, I gotta ask you, Dalton, if you're Joey Stiers and, obviously not collecting damage in that wreck, but very, very far back in the field than he would have been if that wreck had not happened, and he likely would have been ahead of it, maybe in it, if he had not done that on lap 1. What are you thinking right now if you're Joey Stiers? Do you think that was the right call?
You know what? I think if you're stuck in that backpack, you're feeling just kind of helpless. You're seeing that lead pack kind of slip away, and you're feeling frustrated, and you're basically just counting down the time until you get that caution finally to catch back up to these guys.
Yep. And what I'm always thinking, Dalton, because I've done that Joey Stiers move more times than I can count, is I'm looking at that lead pack and I was thinking, I was just there. Why did I do that? I was just there.
Well, and you know who's happy? How about Michael Serra running in the 42 Ford up 13 spots into
Yes.
6th? He's happy to be part of this breakaway. Nate Maurer also up 8 spots. So those two guys happy to see this breakdown of the other cars get away. You got 12 cars in that lead group running single file. And they're content to push out the next 10 laps or however many in this green flag run to get out as far ahead as they can. Green flag racing here, lap 17. Heck of a good day by these fellas. One little incident on that push where Peltz, Rose, and Duval involved. But other than that, clean racing.
Yeah, and also, guys, definitely something that I should have realized in that initial incident, that collected a few of our playoff players. A few guys on the outside looking in, trying to make our playoffs, are now in the back of this field. I'm talking about Shea,
look at
Tommy Fox, and Neil. Exactly, those three, all three guys who needed a good points day, not starting off the way they could or the way they wanted to. By no means is it over yet. They're only 15 seconds behind the leader, so they still have a long way to go before they go a lap down. And what I can tell by looking at my relatives is they have formed up together, so at least they're together drafting and not putting in criminally slow laps like you would alone, like we saw with Peltz being forced to do right now. But
Yeah, Schofield
man, not
in
guys who wanted
29th.
that. Yeah,
Schofield
right.
in 29th. Angle down in 30th.
Where's Mandela as well? I'm looking for Mandela and I don't see him. Oh, he's all the way in 24th,
25th.
right? Wow. So lots of guys who needed a good day today, Mean Gene, not having that so far in the early goings here.
Hey, we're one caution away from grouping them back up, re-rack them, and see what happens. But those lead 12, they don't want to see that at all. They got to be content to just be legging it out right now.
Oh, absolutely. These guys are super content, just hoping to keep it clean and keep it green for as long as they can. And they're doing a great job of it. I saw a little bit ago, Moore got a little bit spooked with a checkup in front of him, and he went to the outside. And that was a moment, right, where if you're the 12, if you're Matthew Smith, you can kind of pop out with him and say, let's do this thing. Even if it was a mistake that you made that outside lane, I'm coming with you and let's go. And no one was interested to the point where they made that hole again for Moore to come right back in and say, come on, buddy, we're doing this together. He didn't lose a single spot.
All right, so right now it's 4.8 seconds. It's slowly catching up. It almost looks like that second group by David Brenner clicking away. Not sure how a group of 5 could close that gap if Kyle Lynott can lean it back in. It's back and forth, but that is a slowly ticking time bomb right there.
These guys are putting in laps that are sometimes a second faster than those behind them. But then the other lap, or the next lap, the group behind them will figure out a way to do that. So it really is lap by lap. The organization here is changing. I'm seeing a lot of shuffling around in our front group right now, not by position, but just by, you know, I want to say commitment to the line, right? And then I see a little blinky there from Puckett. That's never fun when you're running in a line. But I am seeing, I don't want to say lack of contentness, but maybe the tire's starting to play a little bit of a role. We've talked about this so many times on these single file lanes. It looks easy. It looks like you're cruising, but you're doing anything but that in the race car. You're going as hard as you can, and you are taking pushes from the rear while still trying to make sure that you are staying with that field in front of you. So easy to lose the draft here in these next gens. So these guys still going for it, even though it's just a single file racing.
Look at that third group, 18th through 31st position, all booked together. So that third group also putting on quite a show.
I think that is certainly big enough to catch that lead group in time. These guys can keep it single file, which is certainly in their best interest right now. I don't think it will be too long, but right now it's a full backstretch. The lead group entering turn 3 right as this group exits turn 2.
Dumont was leading the group. They were a half second slower. Looks like Rose is going to let Dumont back in. I think Dumont just wanted to not be in the lead, whether it was for gas or looking at those lap times. You would think with that many cars, they should have been able to. I'm hearing from the producer, Dumont also has a little bit of damage. So he's going to give up that lead spot to the 24 of Rob Chowdhury. So now Chowdhury is going to lead that third group. And let's see if they can put down some better lap times. They were losing, 0.6 of a second or so? Dalton, is that when you make the draw? You just got to let the guy know, hey, let me lead instead?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're that front guy and you see those times just getting further away, I think you have to have that awareness. I'm looking at that lead group, and it looks like a top lane starting to open up a little bit.
Here we go. Kevin Kyle said, I've had enough. Let's do some racing. And David Medina says, finally, somebody wants to take this top lane with me, and he did not hesitate. And all the same guys that we saw run that top lane early in this race went straight up there with that 31 of Kyle. You got Mandela back up there, and you got Malarkey up there as well. They still going to need a little bit more help. I'm hoping we see someone with that 96 of Matthew Smith come and help out. Maybe the 12 of Puckett will come help out. But nonetheless, happy to see 2 lanes here. And what this will do, inevitably, guys, is it will help that group of 18 catch these guys, as I'm already seeing them in the back of the screen closing that gap.
Now, how much does side drafting come into effect here when you're in the middle of a larger body of cars? You could see maybe Kevin Kyle thinks he could get some side drafting off of the 56 of Landry, but it doesn't appear to be slowing the group. Does it just continue to build momentum when it's that large of a body of cars?
I think it's also just if you're gonna side draft, especially here at Talladega with such a big track, you got to make it count. You got to actually side draft. You got to get to that fender to where a piece of paper can barely be slipped in between the car below you and your own to really, really slow down that car and make the side draft effective. What we're seeing here from Kyle, and Landry here, just not enough to do anything meaningful. You see even Landry having the willingness to kind of pop up a little bit and put a little bit of that side draft himself on Kevin Kyle and try to not let that top lane get any meaningful momentum.
Yep. So I'm hearing on the radio, Ferdiani and the others talking around lap 27 might be a target for when they are going to pit. So that lead group of cars right there, you can see, what did we say? There was 12. So that is going to be an interesting display of pitting. And then behind them, you can see there's 5. I think I might rather be in that group of 5 when it comes time to all slam into the pits rather than that group of 12. Definitely don't want to be in that big old group of 18 through 31.
No, definitely not. And I think also if you're Paul Ferdiani, what you're doing right now is you're praying that these guys are going to come down with you. You mentioned a couple laps ago, Mean Gene, about what leading a group will do for your fuel. And it really will take about an extra lap of fuel than if you were somebody like a Joe Volpis or a Landry or Kelly, anyone behind these guys right now. You're saving significant fuel compared to that car leading. So I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong here. I feel like 27 is pretty early. And I'm assuming Ferdiani having to come in around 27 because he's already gone through his gas at a much higher rate than the rest of the field. So I'm sure what he's really, really hoping for is the cars behind him want to come in at 37 because I doubt, I would say with confidence, they do not need to. I'm sure they come up to at least 30.
That would hurt my feelings. I've led the whole, I took the pole, I've led all these laps. I need fuel and watch that whole field drive on by.
I thought we were friends. We worked so well together. Yep. I mean, yeah, you're like, guys, I thought we were friends. We just spent 27 laps together.
That's right. I'm David Lee Roth. I'm the leader of this band. Wait,
oh, everyone
how
loves
are we
him. He's
touring?
super
I
nice.
didn't get those dates. Oh, we're touring.
Yeah, I have some funny stories about that guy specifically. I know someone who toured with him, and he's a character. He hates like air. Did you know that?
Hmm?
He hates like wind. Like he can't have wind in the dressing room with him. It's crazy.
Man, if I had hair like that, I'd want wind all the time.
Oh,
Here we
here they
go.
come, here they
Here we
come.
go. Here we go. So quite a few coming in here with Ferdiani. He is leading this group. You have
All right,
Volpis,
7 of them.
Kelly, Landry, 7 of them. Yep. Bucket in this group as well. So quite a few of these guys doing a good job communicating. And again, with the new Discord rule we're going to have next year, I wonder how much we'll see this type of stuff.
All the group of 5 came in. That second group with Brenner and Owens, all that group came in.
Not a bad call either. That might be a chance to form up with that early group right there, or that group in front of them right there. And also what we'll always be looking at here is who's taking tires, who's taking fuel. Per usual here at Talladega, guys. Dalton, you're going to be our mastermind here, but correct me if I'm wrong here. You're just taking fuel right now at this stage of the race, right?
Yeah, green flag. You cannot afford to take tires here. Quite literally, you're going to lose that. You're going to lose the pack if you take tires. That's just extra time added to the pit stop. You're not even really wearing the tires right now, so yeah, just fuel only.
As you saw there, Mauer bringing it hot. I think he got it slowed down in time there. So far, so good. Medina very, very low, trying to get it slowed down. Looks like Medina doing a good job there. Phenomenal job by the 24. Really, really getting some space there. That was a great job by Chattery. And here is our new lead pack. We got Volpis and the 55 and the 56. Those guys are inseparable. Best friends forever. And here they are working together with Volpis.
Yep. Water and oil. Let's go.
Exactly. They just mix so well. And you see them already trying to get this group of 3 as far away from the rest of the field as possible. And they did a great job executing on that pit stop, staying together and maintaining the lead. As here we go with the blend about to happen. This one looks like it could be close. Ooh, maybe not. They have quite a bit of momentum.
Now, hey, if you got damage on your car, you can't afford to repair it at this point, right? You just got to suck it up.
100%.
On a green flag, right?
You are so right about that. When you have damage at this point in the race, and tell me if you did the same thing here, Dalton. You're at the mercy of that yellow flags and that damage. Most damage to me, if I can't feel it, if I'm Gerald Rose right now and I'm feeling that wheel damage, I'm still waiting for that caution, but I will give up my track position for fixing it once I get that caution. But I'm sure as heck not going a lap down for that.
Well, he's behind the other damaged car, so he found him 2 broken friends.
There we go.
Oh, just when you were talking about Landry and Kelly and Volpis being best friends, they just do a little rope-a-dope, just swing right around outside of Volpis.
Oh, I was just
Oh,
talking
they
about
would
Jared and
never.
Kelly, or I was talking about Kelly and Landry. They're telling Volpus, you can't sit with us. They're the best
What about
friends.
Kevin Kyle now? He's the 4th car, and Medina's the 5th. Whoa, Joe Volpus, he's in a bad
Oh,
spot right now. And then
he's
Brandon
Fulcum.
Shelton.
Oh,
Wow.
he is Fulcum circled right now by these guys.
You got 5 guys in the same, 5 of the top 6 are in the same Discord, and then Volpus by himself. What a nice place to be.
Hey, you know what? Volpus, a longtime MRL guy over here in the BRL. Now we can know how all of us rookies felt in the MRL when we first got started around all the Gulf Coast guys.
This is some exciting stuff. Look, and Jared Kelly giving us the show now as he's managed to put his way up into the front. You can see behind him, Jason Landry, Joe Volpus still part of that group. Malarkey's going to close it out. So that front group is going to be 7.
Yep. And oh, look at that. Look at Kevin Kyle just absolutely makes a massive move to the outside, trying to get past the showboat here. And he brought 5 cars with him. So now Kelly, I mean, obviously Landry would never leave him, sticks with him on the inside. So Kelly and Landry on the inside together. But now Medina giving Kevin Kyle some massive pushes, trying to give him the lead on the outside lane there. And it looks like he's going to be successful.
They look like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. They would never separate. They'll
Never.
be together forever. Meanwhile, on the
Kelsey and
inside
Swift.
lane, you can see the sadness as those cars just get eaten up.
Oh, yeah, very, very
Look at
loyal
Volpus
to each
to
other.
last of that lead group. Ouch.
I know, and just a second ago, he was in the lead. It can happen so quick here in Talladega. And if this group isn't careful here, they're going to lose the draft entirely.
All right, so second group coming after. Yeah, you're right. Look at Kelly and Volpus kind of lurking a little bit behind. I think Volpus is having some connectivity issues as well. I'm getting him blinking on my screen.
I've seen that happen to Volpus a couple times. Never seems to really be terminal, but he does get those blinks from time to time. And we've talked about it already. I don't know if there's a worse track or a worse type of racing to go blinky blinky than there is at a play track.
All right, so you got that group of 7 is your lead group. Behind them, you're going to see that group of 4. That's led by the 33 Toyota. He is trying to close that gap. We're going to keep an eye. It was 1.9. Now it's 1.5. I think that group of 4, they've got a good shot of catching them. And then after that, you can see another 6 cars as Joey Stiers is trying to connect up behind David Owens. So still top 16 looking good. After that, oh no, who is that fading?
We're gonna have to
right
go around the
there?
outside.
Yes, they are. I believe that's Mandela, or that's the 57. I'm sorry. It's the 57. Tommy Fox about to go a lap down here. And these guys, I do not like what I'm seeing from this lead group, guys. They are impatient right now. They are just absolutely going for it. There's no real organization. And everyone here wanting to lead as many laps as they possibly can. And more often than not, this can result in something big. I understand why they're going for it. It's a small group, so you might as well, right? But, I've already seen a few moments here.
Yeah, a few drivers, Peltz a lap down, Neal, Tommy Fox. These guys are starting to suffer the effects of being out of the draft and the bad pit stop. Remember, that initial breakaway just causing such a terrible situation for those playoff contending drivers, and now double down with a bad or a slow pit stop, and that's why you're seeing Fox and Neal suddenly also being part of all of that foolishness. Next up, you can see other cars have managed to close the gap and have a friend, but look, no, Jake Ashay, he's kind of in no man's land, hoping maybe he can hook up with that.
There goes Ashay in that gorgeous car going a lap down there. But what I am seeing, Mean Gene, along the lines of this league group, finally now starting to get a little bit organized, but they couldn't for the entire duration of that second run until now. It's allowed that second group of Fardiani, Smith, Sarah, and Puckett to re-catch them and form now will be a group of 11, 12 lead lap cars. So this little messing around has allowed, or has forced them now to find out, as this group's about to get a lot bigger and a lot sketchier.
Yep, that 12 of them now have managed to make it into that group. Outside, you can see a little bit of fadeaway, but he's going to jump right back in. And then after that, once again, not surprised, it's a Gulf Coast team. It's Brenner getting pushed by Lynott. There's Jackson Duvall group. David Owens is in that group. So that second group now trying to chase down that larger group of 12. It's a Gulf Coast group minus Joe Volpus.
A lot of cars going a lap down here too. You have Pfeiffer in the 85, and genuinely one of the most gorgeous race cars I've ever seen. Going a lap down right now with Fox right there behind him. A Shea going a lap down as well. So it's a lot of these guys, their race becoming a lot more complicated even if we can get that caution. So we'll have to see if they can maintain this pack here and potentially try to get their lap back the hard way, which will only complicate things further as here we go up front. Look at this. Kevin Kyle to the outside as we have two lanes again, and Jared Kelly leading, being pushed by Volpus as that group of Volpus, Landry, and Kelly work their way back up front, this time using the bottom lane.
There's a lot of shuffling of the cars going on right there. We were just feeling bad for Joe Volpus being in the back of that group. And then all of a sudden he's pushing second car inside lane. But Kevin Kyle going to lead him some laps. David Medina back into the front again. And Nate Maurer also in that group. That's that orange car that you can see, fifth car back on that outside row, getting a push from Justin Malarkey. So Nate Maurer really putting his foot down, trying to get some attention to his team.
Maurer, tons of speed in the past few weeks in everything he drives. Tons of speed on Thursday over in Vegas in the MRL Truck Series. Here trying to get the job done after a second place finish. And man, yeah, you see Landry and Kelly, like Jim and Pam, inseparable, formed back up on that inside lane. And here they go lapping another car. I believe that might be the Swingle.
Yeah,
oh, that's Schofield. Usually when I can't read the numbers, I just assume it's Swingle, Mean Gene.
There you go. Yeah, Matt Schofield, that's another playoff contending driver. Going a lap down, not what he wanted. And that group is so fast, it's going to be tough to see if Schofield can actually catch up and stay with that group of boys. If not, there's a group of three coming up. Smith, Puckett, and Brenner. Maybe he can hook up with those guys and at least stay close enough to be the clear lucky dog. But we'll see. After that, you got that Gulf Coast team led at the moment by David Brenner, Duval Owens, Kyle Lamont. Joey Stiers is in there just for good practice. Remember, Joey made that decision to pull down on the apron and get away from that lead group, and he's content now to ride with these four guys. He's not in Discord with them, so this ought to be fun. One guy not in Discord with four. Sounds like Volpus's problem early in the race.
Yeah, for sure. And man, look how intense this is getting up front, Mean Gene. These guys are going for it now. It looks like we might even get some three wide here. And everyone here trying to get these positions. Malarkey going to shoot the middle. No real help for him as he's going to go down to the outside as Kevin Kyle and Jared Kelly continuing to lead these two lanes, looking for the advantage. And this is when things start to get messy, Dalton, is it not? This is when you normally start to see the first caution in a race.
Yeah, you know what? And I want to highlight something. How Kelly and Landry and Volpus got back up into that catbird seat, into that inside lane towards the front, is they kind of used those lap cars. In Game of Thrones terms, chaos is a ladder. And these guys utilize the chaos of those lap cars, kind of stand to the inside, trying to figure out if they're going to move the outside, and they kind of almost pinned that inside lane down there and just used that run on the high lane to get back to the front.
Yeah, they did a great job doing that. And now, again, speaking of chaos, works and ladders are... I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I'm sorry, I don't know.
What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry, guys. I have too many other things that take over my life. But I will say, speaking of chaos, though, these guys still single file. And that group that Mean Gene just talked about, led by David Brenner, that Gulf Coast group, they are not. They are all single file here, not double file. So they are putting in faster lap times, and it should only be a matter of time until we see a super group. These guys want to continue to race I'm sorry, there they are, single file. And look in front of them every lap. They're getting closer and closer, guys.
Look, chaos is not a pit. Chaos is a ladder. I did that monologue for a television show.
Oh, did you?
Ended up getting the role too. I was very happy with that. So shout out to Littlefinger.
Did you do the whole
Yep,
episode?
that stuff up front though, wide open. Now more cool cars back in there. You can see Malarkey is in the back, so that lead group has made it back into 10 cars. You can see the 7 of Edward Peltz still milking that damage, all green flags, never getting the opportunity to pit, and he is just going to fade away Behind them, look how large that second group is. It was 5, but they did pick up those other 3 cars. So now that second group of 8
huh?
is now
Yeah.
closing in on our lead group.
Yeah,
Brenner's
that
just been leading this thing beautifully. Brenner's been in the lead of that second, I don't want to call it the Gulf Coast Racing group, but
mhm.
Brenner's been in the lead of that group the whole time, and he is finally closing the gap. Look at those amazing pushes by Jax Duval.
Yeah.
Jax just likes sticking it in where it doesn't need to go, but that gives you speed.
If you ever want someone that can do that for you, Jack Walton, man. And about that group, me and Gene, I love the who's leading it and who's the pusher. The 2 most important spots of a single file group like that are first and second in terms of its forward momentum. And I don't think you could ask for any 2 better guys to push it than Brenner and Duvall. And even to make matters even better, you got David Owens as the 3rd guy, who we know is a great pusher. And it's going to be sooner rather than later, my friends. We are probably 1 or 2 laps away from these guys forming up into a super group.
Yeah, we're going to see those 8 get right in there, those 10. All of a sudden, you see an 18-man group. Behind them, there is a 3rd group trying to make it work. That's being led by William Hewitt. He's out here in his first race running in that 602 Ford. So there is other groups. Some people still singled out. A little bit further back, you can see let's call them the group, the limping group, the injured group. That's Dumont, Rose, Benton, and Zerwick. They're trying to make their way around.
The injury reserve.
And they're going
doing their
so
best.
fast. They're going so fast, there's just 2 cars behind them drafting as well, keeping up. That's just painful to watch.
Oh, it
Brandon
hurts.
Shelton going to take the lead. How about that? The
Look at
number
that.
2 Chevrolet. It's his turn to lead.
Gorgeous move by the 2 of Shelton as well. Really, really saw his moment, took it, and now takes the lead from the 55 of Kelly. Get those laps led and see that clean racetrack in front of him. And cue the Jaws music, boys, because these guys, they are coming.
Yep, you're going to need a bigger boat. Now, let me ask you this. Once that group catches up, let's assume they're going to get there. Who would be the guy? Ooh, Shelton goes wide.
Uh-oh,
He's going
Shelton,
to give
why
it
would
up
you
to
do that?
Landry. Who of this lead group or in that second group do you think would be the guy to go 3 wide and make this thing a nail-biter?
Oh, there's 3 people leading that group coming up to him. It's going to be Brenner, Duvall, and Owens. I mean, mark my words. And here they
Reckless
come.
abandon?
Here they come. Yep, I think they're going to just go for it. I mean, the best time to do it is right when you catch the group with that head of steam. And there goes Duvall.
Look at Medina back there trying to throw a block down. David Medina making his way to the very back of that lead group. He's the 10th car back, right in front of Brenner. I'm sorry, right in front of Jax Duval. I don't know about you. I would not stick my booty in front of the front of that 84.
No, and surprisingly, though, Duvall goes to the top, and Brenner just says, where you going, buddy? This time, he goes with him. I think maybe they just didn't have the run formed up that they wanted for Brenner to want to follow him through it. Now they have a little bit of a head of steam. And, yeah, what we're wondering here more than anything, are they going to kind of slot in there behind Kevin Kyle to form up that second group, or are they about to send this thing 3 wide?
Look at the 42 of Sarah fades back just a little bit as well. Wow, look at this is just insane now. These 2 groups have caught each other. You can see all the way back to Dennis Puckett and Matthew Smith trying to keep up with that group, but now you have 17 cars in that group, all jockeying for position. We're on lap 45. If they pitted at 27, does that mean 54? So 9 laps maybe until we're going to see that window open again.
Yeah, you're going to try to push this as long as you can to make it a one-stop race. No cautions yet, so, I mean, you really can't depend on them coming now, but this is going to make it a lot easier. Now we got 3. Here we go. Duvall, Brenner, and Owens. What did I say? The 3 drivers I said would do it, first to do it.
Yeah. Reckless abandon. Look at that Goldfish car. Duvall out there. He's already spun Edward Peltz. He's just getting started. And now he's going to run on that outside. If I'm in that middle lane, I got to be a little concerned, Justin Malarkey. And now you can see Malarkey starting to slowly fade back. That's him and Brandon Shelton. Kevin Kyle looks like he might pick him up in the middle. Inside lane seems to be organized much better. You can see those 8 cars on the inside. Finally, that middle lane falls all the way back. Malarkey's going to stay in the middle, decides he wants to push. Tap
no.
and almost wrecked.
Wow.
And
Oh, there they go.
Kyle Puckett into the back of Smith. Wow.
Get it, Shelton. Gather it up, Shelton. Gather it up. Oh, that's
No
going to be
yellow?
a caution. That should be one there.
Two
Yellow is
taps.
out.
There
That was almost not one. Shelton so close to gathering it back up. You could kind of see that one starting to form, guys. One thing I was going to say about that middle lane when you said that I'd be a little bit concerned if I was Malarkey, I would have been too because of the lack of help that he had, but then he got that help, and that group just having a hard time keeping it all together. Once we had 3 pretty powerful lines formed, all it took was one off-center push, and we saw what that created.
That was painful. We saw a couple of cars get extra contact. I saw Malarkey get hit twice.
Yeah, I'm looking at Medina,
I saw
too.
Matthew Smith take a little bit of damage there. Definitely Puckett getting sideways.
Let's take a look at that 9 of Medina. I saw him in the early parts of that wreck shoot down the track. I don't see anything noticeably wrong with that 9 car, so good news for Medina there. As sketchy as that thing got, guys, I don't think it was too significant in terms of damage for anybody. So that's a good sign. So what would you do here, Dalton?
Well, I think the obvious move here is just, take your gas. I think you can make it to the end at this point, maybe just barely.
Oof.
So I think you're coming in, you're taking the gas, and I don't think you're coming in again unless you have damage. You're staying out if you can.
So still no tires, guys?
I would. I'd
I
take
might.
right side. Why not? You
Yeah.
got to take a
Why not?
lot of fuel here.
Yeah, right sides aren't going to add any time or nothing significant to your pit stop. Look at that front end of the 55 of Jared Kelly. Really scuffed up. Wondering what role he had in that one. I'm not seeing any dents. I am just seeing scuffs. So that's a good sign for the 55, but nonetheless, a little bit of damage
Oh,
there.
right side going on the 55
Yeah, we got some right sides. Look at that
and
pit
the
crew.
56.
Oh, we're going
and
both
the
sides here on the
84.
55. We're going both sides.
Looky.
4 fresh
Yep.
ones. And I see the 56 getting 4 fresh ones as well.
Why not? You're taking a lot of gas.
Not the 07 though.
And now here's where we see who's injured. The guys that stay in the pit, that's going to be your injury crew.
Yeah, you got the
This is
7
the first
still in
caution
there.
that they're going to have that opportunity.
Jilled Rose screaming at his pit crew to work faster.
Hey, I'll tell you who didn't take tires. That 42, that root beer car.
Yep, he did not. I
Ooh.
think Vulpes took 2, because he came out quite a bit in front of Kelly, so I believe he took 2. So we're gonna have a little bit of a mixed bag, boys. Not like it's gonna affect, I don't think, the drivability of these cars too much, but it is gonna affect our running order.
Yeah, Malarkey's still down there getting a lot of work done on his car. I can see Rose also down in the pits. So lots of guys still needing to get their cars touched out.
Malarkey clearly getting the worst of that previous wreck. That
Well, he
front
made
right.
contact twice, right?
Yeah,
Once
I believe
in the back
so.
and once in the front.
That front right is very dented in. I see them working on it now. They just got to push that a little bit. Hopefully nothing too bad with the toe link there. But oof, it's an unfortunate situation for one of our faster cars there.
Yep, and up front, like you said, Dalton, the 42 in and out of the pits quicker than a hiccup. Going to have Joe Vulpes up there with him, Jared Kelly, Nate Maurer, Landry. So those top 5 all got to be super happy. All of them fast movers. Sarah up 18 spots from his initial starting
Wait, is he
position.
coming back in, that 42?
He is coming back in.
Oh, he just wanted to lead a
he-
lap. Good man. Got him
Oh,
some
wow.
points. Maybe
If
just wanted
that
those points.
is he's in the lead lap. Is that Medina back? That's Medina.
Oh, they're topping off.
Topping
Yeah.
off. That's Puckett topping off. That's Stiers. So we got a handful of cars here. A little bit nervous about the fuel situation, wanting to top off. I don't blame them.
I mean, let's think. They did 27 before that first pit, so that takes us to 75. So that's awful close.
It's really close, especially if you're leading. I mean, if you're that 42, you're going to be leading when we go green, and we've
79.
talked about that.
79 lap race. So if you could draft a couple of laps, it's doable.
Yeah,
You know what? They're also looking, I think, at if we get an overtime finish, it's
Oh.
going to get a lot closer with who's who has enough fuel to make it for. 'Cause I don't know how many attempts we get, but yeah,
3.
it makes it a little harder.
Yeah, that's a great shout. especially at a 2.5 mile racetrack. Those caution laps will stack up in terms of fuel usage. So, lights are off the pace car, and we're about to go green for the second time today. And man, I will take my hat off to every car in this 36 car field to keep it green for 50 laps, or almost 50 laps here at Talladega is no small feat. So
we had a green flag
great
pit
job.
stop. That was exciting.
That was great. We had some good showtime here at Talladega in the BRL. What an awesome show these guys put on week after week. And it really does seem like the more difficult or hectic of a track we go to, the more these guys challenge themselves to put on a good, clean show. Shades of Vegas right now, beginning to start the season.
All right, people to look at. I see David Medina back in 21st starting this. Steyer's back in 23rd. So, and Kevin Kyle back in 29th. So, going to be curious to see how they make their way through. And the 33, how damaged is Justin Malarkey as he's just catching up to the field as we're about to go through.
Yep, lights off the pace car off the track. And as I'm sure nobody knows about this track, the start-finish line all the way through the tri-oval, meaning that first Geico thing is not the restart zone. It's this one right here. As here we go, Joe Volpes leading them to green. Wait until the end of the restart zone to get it going, but does nonetheless. Great jump by Jared Kelly on the outside with Landry following him. It looks like that outside lane did some time that went up nearly perfectly, and we'll see if they're able to get out of 2 with the lead. But Moore are doing a great job pushing Volpes on the inside lane there.
Outside lane, Jared Kelly is gonna take it over, getting a great push from Jason Landry. Outside lane seems to be working a little bit better. Brenner, Kyle Lynott, third and fourth car on the outside lane. Little bit of confusion now. Look at Kelly and Landry taking that opportunity to jump on the bottom. That's going to leave Lynott, Owens, and Brenner on the outside, all discombobulated. Jared Kelly, they're 6 deep, single file on the inside. Kelly leads out of turn 4.
David Brenner just really loses the game of musical chairs right there at that start. He tried to go to the bottom and follow the 55 and the 56 to that bottom lane, and that really just was not there for that 22. Falls all the way back, nearly outside the top 10. Leaving the outside lane now, but that outside lane is nowhere near making the progress that that front or that inside lane is.
Yep, a lot of single file up front. You can see them 2 by 2 by 2. Now looks like Brenner and Kyle Lynott finally getting their act together. They're up to the 5th row. They're up to the 4th row. Outside lane finally working for Brenner and Lynott. Wow. They're up to the 3rd car now. Outside, looks like Smith is going to jump up and try to go with him. They're up to the 2nd row. They're up to the 1st row, side by side for the lead. Brenner versus, and he's going to take it.
Kyle Lynott just says, don't worry, buddy, come with me. And to the lead they go. Oh, my goodness. That was from about 10th to 1st in the span of a backstretch. That was incredible.
I think they're terrified because they got Jax Duvall chasing them down, and they know what would happen. They immediately jumped down on that inside lane to get rid of that 84.
Threw the nitrous on, did they not? Man, all that nitrous that was in that car got used there. That thing just took off, and they're still going. Kyle Lynott, when he needs to, he just unlocks another level of speed, and it's fun to see.
Yeah, we saw him win last week at Indianapolis, and right now he's on the outside of the playoffs looking in. So Lynott, I did have an opportunity to talk to the Gulf Coast guys. Kyle Lynott was their primary driver, but they were trying to get the win today to push his way up into the playoffs. And speaking of Gulf Coast, look at that outside lane. Here it comes again. This time it is Owens pushing, trying to make that work. We'll see if that outside lane has as much success with this crew.
You got the 24 at Chattery helped them out now as well. 2 24 cars. I'm glad that's not confusing at all. Side by or back to back there. We're gonna have to get that figured out, aren't we, boys? But nonetheless, that's not our job. I feel bad for the spotters in that situation. Lynott and Brenner seeming to really want that inside lane. I mean, as well as the 55 and the 56. As soon as they cleared that on the outside to start this restart, they took that inside. That's where they want to be. So very curious right now why so many of our faster cars, or why when you get to that lead, you immediately want to be there on the bottom. As we'll see what happens here with Duvall and Owens, as they have done the same thing that Lynott and Brenner were able to.
Top 4 cars now, Gulf Coast Racing, front row and second row. They can control this thing up in the front. They can go slow if they need to control the fuel consumption as well, to ensure that all of them. No sooner do I say that, hard pushes from Chowdhury and the 24 of, I guess he is the 24. That is confusing, isn't it?
It's very confusing.
The 24 pushing the 24. The 24 ahead of the 24. But
And
the
who gets it?
24.
The 24 gets it.
Wow. Is that
Barely
Hewitt?
gets over the
Is
24.
Hewitt the other 24?
I honestly don't know. I'm trying my best, but I don't know. Is Chattery on the lead lap right now? He is. Okay. Yes, he is.
All right. So, finally, a challenge, though, for what Gulf Coast was trying to do.
It
there.
is
You
Hewitt.
can see
It is Hewitt.
the outside lane now with the 224s of Chowdhury and Hewitt pushing their way to the front. Chowdhury is now going to take over.
Oh, watch out, Ferdiani.
Oh, they are getting tight. Look at this. Look. Oh, my. A little bit of tightness there is Ferdiani almost getting into the back.
Sorry about that. He touched the apron going through 3 and 4. That was a big moment there.
To revive that there, you can see Michael Benton on the outside of Shelton, and then the 37 on the inside of them of Chris Smith. So, 24 pushes really hard. He
here we go.
Back up, and they hold it.
The 24 and the 24 getting together there.
Something you saw there, the lap cars, like Tommy Fox and Neil, the guys who stayed out on that last that pit cycle under caution to get the wave around. They were banking on a quick caution to let them keep that lap, but instead going all the way back to lose that lap again.
Oh, so brutal. And also, speaking of guys who went to the rear there, look at David Medina. He is already 5th on that top line. He has made quick work of this pack. Nobody that came in and pit with him has gone through the field anywhere near as close as he has. Actually, I'm wrong. Look right behind him. Joey Styers did. Joey Styers pit with him, and he's also followed Medina through that pack. So they've done a great job making passes through all this hecticness.
Outside lane, though, you got the 24 of Hewitt trying to close up on the 24 of Chowdhury. Thomas Pierce, second car outside lane. Joe Volpis was the third.
Oh, no.
Down.
Oh,
that is no good.
And Kevin Kyle. Kevin Kyle in that one as well, boys. As I believe that should bring out the caution. It is out. So that's the 69 of Benton involved in that one, and I saw the 31 of Kyle. It looked like Kyle may have towed like the or thrown his computer because the car like disappeared, and it's not been seen since. So we have a stream after this. You need that computer, Kevin. I hope that thing is not somewhere in your front yard. Oh no. And speaking of, after this race, we are going to Phoenix for the NASCAR Cup Series live stream. We'll be doing that over on the Vortex Racing Network YouTube channel. You can find the channel with that QR code there on the right side of your screen, left side of the flyer. You can also visit youtube.com/@Vortex Racing Network. We'll be watching Phoenix Raceway today. Fun fact about me personally, guys, this is my first time not going to that track in 6 years. This is my first time watching this race on TV as a fan. So I'm excited to do that with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be playing our drinking games as usual, talking our usual crap on guys like Rasha Stan, Kyle Larson, and Joey Logano. I have to say Kyle Larson because you guys are really mean to me about him. And Todd, we don't say anything mean about Todd Gilliland.
Why would you bring that name up?
We say nothing mean about Todd Gilliland on this stream. He is our hero, our Lord and Savior. We love that man. As we see lots.
We get road takers.
Yeah, we got some takers and we got some fakers. We got some fakers too, Dalton. My rhyming is on point today. I'm proud of that. But look at that. Yeah, Jack Saval faked it and came back out. But yes, join us for the Phoenix live stream. And real quick, let's go around, guys. Who's your guys' picks to win it today? I got Chase Briscoe. Brisky getting it done.
Oh, I got another Chase Elliott. I think this is going to be the one that he just kind of randomly shows up for. He was kind of slow in practice, but put it, I think, just around the top 5 in qualifying. I think they're only going to improve that car.
You know, I'm also going to go with it. I'm also going to go with the Chase, as in chasing his 4th championship, the 22 of Joey Logano.
Oh, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really sucks?
He's on the front row. He's on the front row.
You know what disgusts me? I mean, he's fast. I mean, I don't know if he's fast there or if Penske just always brings a hot rod there.
That beautiful hair he's got.
I mean, that beautiful hair. I will compliment that. I will say, Mean G, one thing I hate more than anything is when you put your guests on our Discord, you said 3-time, and I immediately knew who you were talking about.
Of course you did.
I really hate that. I really hate that that only applies to one person in NASCAR right now.
And you know what I did was I made sure to buy a lot of merchandise that says 3-time champion to ensure that there will be a fourth. If I didn't buy any, then he would be stuck at 3 forever. But since I spent hundreds of dollars getting 3-time merch, he's going to win again to make it useless.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, Kyle Larson is, as much as I've tried that theory to get him a second championship by buying all of the first championship stuff, he still insists on not doing it.
You know, we joke, but I think you know, Christopher Bell is going to make it real hard.
God.
And Blaney as well. I think Ryan Blaney's getting ready for a big year.
I mean, so far this season, if your name starts with a B, things are looking good. You're going to win a race. Only guys whose last name start with B's have won races in the Cup Series this year.
Bush, except Bush.
Except for, so close last week.
Look at who's in the lead. Where did this guy come from?
I know, that fake to the pits, it was a great fake, too. It was a risky one. Got him in the pits, and since then he's been harassing our pace car driver of Morgan Freeman, which is not very nice of him. But
Nope.
Did you hear that Morgan Freeman's the Grand Marshal today? Pretty awesome.
No.
Yes, that's... Oh, is that for Vegas? That's for our producer correcting me. That's for Vegas. That means we get to go meet him,
see Morgan
Jared.
Freeman?
Me, Jared, and Dalton get to go see and hang out with Morgan Freeman.
Our best friend, Morgan Freeman.
Nice.
Our best friend, Morgan Freeman. I mean, like,
Yeah.
imagine if we get him to do our intro.
Ooh. So
Yeah.
on our race, we are on lap 59. Remember, we are late racing to 79. 20 laps to go. This caution is going to help the boys that didn't pit. A lot of them especially took new tires or right side, so they got to be happy. Jax Duvall is currently your leader. David Owens
the outside.
in second, and then David Brenner. So top 3 cars, Gulf Coast Racing. And don't forget Kyle Lynott. He is the third car on that outside row. I am terrified to see what kind of shenanigans these boys are going to play to try to get that 988 up to the front. And then look behind them, Medina, Kelly, Blandry.
You know what I think I see in the
fellas ready to make him pay.
what I think I see in the front row forming here, guys. I think I see an okie dokie in our near future. I think we're gonna see. Yep, we're gonna see Owens and Duvall work well here together. And what I am almost positive we're gonna see is Owens start just ever so slightly after that 84 does, just enough for that 84 to come down on the inside lane in front of that 11 before they enter 1. And I know that Brenner and Lenott's working them is working them as well. If they can really execute this the way they want to, they're going to try to take Brenner and Lynott with them, all of them to the inside lane. But I know for sure the plan here is to get that 84 to the inside lane.
Yep. Don't forget Joe Volpus, part of the nonsense as well. Joe Volpus is in that number
On the
7
inside lane.
Jack Daniels car. So a lot of foolishness as they're about to
And
go
we have 222s as well. My goodness. All right, here we go. Getting ready, lining up to the second Geico restart zone. Duvall, our control car. Look for him to blast off and take that inside lane. Off they go. Duvall with a great restart. Takes Brenner with him. They're going to, and wow, takes Lynott with him as well. Will this be what they needed for the full triple okie dokie? It is. It is. Great execution there by Gulf Coast to get all 4 of their cars controlling the inside lane.
A lot of accordion effect in the back as the cars pump up. Some of them go 3 wide at that point. No damage taken in the back, it would appear. Back up to the front, Jax Duvall. Hard push from David. And there's Kyle Lynott, Gulf Coast primary driver today. They said they'd push him for the win, and Brenner added on. Unless I'm at the front at the end, then I'm going to win. But except for Brenner, they are all committed to getting Kyle Lynott to victory lane.
And you know that whole time Pierre is just saying to David Owens, go, just go. But nope, Owens making sure all of his teammates can get in there in front of him.
Yep, so they are single file, 6 cars back. And then all of a sudden, you can see around 7th, it's David Medina and Joey Stiers. They've had enough of that foolishness. Zach Engel, Jared Kelly now going on that outside lane as well. Outside lane trying to close the gap over the front 4 cars. Lynott takes it high to block that outside lane. That will push Lynott up. Lynott still blocking Medina.
3 wide.
They're three
Almost.
wide as
Oh,
Steyrs.
tight.
Oh,
Look
man.
at Malarkey come back. I guess that car's not damaged. Joey Steyrs stuck in the middle, 3 wide. Paul Ferdy, Annie also as well stuck in that middle.
Speaking of not damaged anymore, shout out to Jalen Rose finding himself in the top 15. He had damage earlier. He's nearly been a lap down, and now here he is in this lead group doing a great job. But, man, he is in the middle of the Hornets' nest right now. It is 3 right in front of him, and that was a huge moment there with Jared Kelly. Almost got shuffled out there to the very top, able to get picked up by a few friends. And, oh, my goodness, way close by Pierre's on Lenat. That's going to create a 3-wide situation. That was a really, really late block.
Look how high the 54 goes in front of Justin Malarkey. 3 wide here at Talladega. We're on lap 62. Middle lane trying to make it work.
Wow.
Medina cuts back down. 4 cars on the outside lane led by Kyle Lenat. Getting a push from the 55 of Kelly, Landry, Malarkey making that outside work now. It streams down into 2 lanes. Joey Steyrs cuts down hard in front of the 37 of Chris Smith for 14th place. And now they're 2 wide again. And here comes Lenat putting a charge on Duval.
We really have not seen anyone want anything to do with that middle lane. As you're going to see Medina here, maybe give it a chance, but it seems like it can only last maybe a lap and a half at most before people get too sketchy with it. The pushes in the middle have been really, really sketchy, guys. I'm seeing cars get really squirrely when they get touches. There goes Lenat to the bottom, trying to cover it up and get that Gulf Coast inside lane rolling again. But Jared Kelly not saying die and has his partner behind him of Landry as they're going to lead that top lane and take the lead of this race. Wow, what a massive push there. That came all the way from Malarkey.
All right, you can see just how competitive it is. The 24 is still a part of this mess. Jared Kelly leading. What a block. The 55 comes up in front of the 56, costs the outside row momentum. 56 trying to push him, but look at the inside. It's Lenat, and it's Duval again. This high pressure, dangerous situation. And here comes a lap car of Michael Benton. He's high. This ought to be interesting.
16 laps to go, but you'd swear it's 1.6 by the way these guys are driving right now. They are going so incredibly hard. And yeah, this lap car, it needs to say hi, but oh man, the littlest push up to that top lane will create absolute mayhem. Here we go, everyone trying to keep it as tight as possible. This is a intense moment in this race right now, as you see Duval just giving absolutely enormous pushes to Lenat down the backstretch, as we have another 3-wide situation. Oh my goodness, you see Rose there on the top there, not really just able to decide what lane he wants to take in that middle lane, whether they want to or not, is formed up with Pierre's leading them.
Yeah,
Malarkey.
probably discretion, the better part of valor there. You don't want to see rookies go up on the high side, but you don't want to see them in the middle as well. Middle lane, Malarkey, Pierce,
Oh,
Rose
my.
trying to make it work. I think it's just causing side drafting because now the outside lane is dead as well. Front 6 cars in a breakaway, and then you're 3 wide, 2 lanes deep behind that. This thing is getting convoluted. Nobody more happy than Kyle Lenat. Kyle Lenat in the lead. He's got teammates Duval, Brenner, Owens, and Vulpes. Top 5 Gulf Coast Racing.
I think what happened with that top lane there, me and Gene, was there goes
the wreck.
Medina! Medina's around! Medina, and I believe that's Fernandi. I believe that's Fernandi in with him. Oh, it is. Oh, that's
Yep,
such a
Ferdy
shame.
Anning, Steyrs got caught up in that mess as well.
And Fernandi's stuck in the wall. How many times have we seen that type of thing happen? Thank you, iRacing, for that. I think Steyrs was in that, yep. I'm seeing the 23 with pretty significant damage as well. Ferdy Anning able to get unstuck from that wall. It looked like to me that Medina was trying to close a hole that just simply was not there.
Wow, late race shenanigans. We are on lap 65, 66 as they cross the line.
Yeah, so I'm assuming when we go green, we'll likely have about 10 to go, and it'll be a 10-lap shootout. The time to pit has come and gone. You have made your bed, and you are sleeping in it now, and it's just a matter of how much damage your car can potentially have, and how you can, or who you have around you to work with to get to the end of this thing, as it's only going to get more intense, and you're going to see more situations like that one. What did you see on your end there, Dalton? Did you see the same thing I did?
Yeah, I could almost kind of barely see it back there, to be honest. Just looked like somebody came up a little too high. It wasn't clear. Something to that extent.
Yep, and I mean, I think if there's one silver lining of that for the rest of the field, typically when you see that type of thing happen, it can collect 10, 15 cars in a heartbeat. Only about 3 or 4 in that one right there. So not as big as I'm sure we will see other ones be. As you see, Jack Staval, sneaky, already trying to fake, and I'm sure you'll see him fake it here. Or he's a psychopath if he actually pits.
Yes.
Not gonna get anyone in. No takers. But
Yeah,
man, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say a fun game you can play on a Google search is type Florida man and then type in your birthday,
Yup.
and you will see something interesting every time.
Like literally every time, no exceptions.
Not the year. Don't put the year in. I mean, nothing happened back in 2002, or maybe it did, but just put the date to get the best result.
That's your date of birth,
Ooh.
Mean Gene. You're how old are you? You're 22 years old.
That's the one.
Yep.
Called it 21. Yep.
Yep.
Look at the pits filled up. David Medina forced back down into the pits for some repair. Joey Stiers, Mark Dumont, Matt Schofield, Rob Chowdhury. Chowdhury was in the lead, and now he's down there. We can see Michael Benton starting to roll again. So those pits are definitely for damage purposes. But we're about to get this thing under green again. And how about having 29 cars on the lead lap still? This is going to be madness.
Yeah, it is. And also just so many guys sticking out to me on our leaderboard right now. Jake Ashea over in 10th, Gerald Rose in 13th, Skurwick over in 15th. I'm also looking at Mandela 19th. So many guys who had early incidents and probably had to drive around alone or in a small group for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just miserable out there, getting the fruits of their labor right now with a legitimate chance to win this race. So shout out to all those guys.
Thomas
Zach
Pierce
Engel as
up
well,
in-
6th place. That's awesome.
Yeah, Zach back up to 6th. Thomas Pierce running in 9th. Chris Smith in 12th. So yeah, a lot of newer names making the best out of this, avoiding only a few wrecks, not a lot of caution. So shout out to everybody. But now with 29, 30 guys now on the lead lap as the lucky dog comes around. It is going to be wild. I mean, 30th, this Joey Stiers, that's a name I would have thought could have won the race at the halfway point. So he'll be back. Chowdhury back there, Medina. So I think we're going to see these cars cut through traffic as quick as they can. Meanwhile, up front, again, that team, that Gulf Coast team, they're worried about fuel for Lynott still. So I would expect some more shenanigans up in the front of the pack as well.
You still got a Gulf Coast lockout 1 through 4. So I'm not hoping, or 1 through 5. Jeez.
Yeah, 1 through 5.
So I'm assuming we're getting another okie dokie here. Why not, right? I think what Gulf Coast will probably try to do here this time around is control both lanes.
Is it a okie dokie, or is it an okie dokie dokie?
I was trying to decide. I literally almost said okie dokie 3 times back to back on that first restart, but I was like, that's going to take up too much air time. So I couldn't decide. We'll get there. Okie dokie cooped. Yeah, there we go. Get some math in there.
Stiers is your, he is going to be your lucky dog. I see him bringing it around right now. Hopefully he'll slow down before he reaches the car in the end. I've seen that happen too. That's always exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle
We saw that very recently, didn't we?
Yeah, it was fun because I wasn't a part of it.
Landry loved it.
Kyle Lynott, he is your leader right now. It is amazing just to see all those Gulf Coast cars. And then behind them, you got to really be pulling for Zach Engel and Malarkey to cut through that malarkey and get their way to the lead and break up that Gulf Coast thing.
Straight up. Team Zach over here. For me, I love Zach Engel, great race car driver. Really, really good on these plate tracks as well. A little bit curious to me, guys. Last restart, we saw our leader take the outside to make that okie dokie situation a little more possible. This time, the leader taking the inside. So what I do think, I'm going to go ahead and try to go 2 for 2 here, guys. I don't think we're going to see the okie dokie here. I think Gulf Coast wants to control the top and bottom. I think they're just going to race this out and keep Brenner and Owens where they are to maintain that dominance they really have right now. They can make this for the next 11 laps of this race. If they can keep that the way it is now, they can race it amongst themselves if they can get this to the white flag.
Well, they got to be cautious though, because remember they're committed to pushing Lynott to the win, and then Brenner added, unless I'm up front, then I'm going to go for the win.
Right,
So,
and
you know,
Lynott
he
trying to go
will
back to back
he will
here.
he will Austin Cindric his team. He already said it more than once.
Yeah, you got to look out for that Joe Logano maneuver that you'll see here. But yeah, Kyle Lynott trying to go back to back here in the BRL, leading them to green. Great launch by Lynott. Very good by Duvall as well. You can see that communication there between the Gulf Coast drivers. And yeah, no such okie dokie this time. These guys are going to try to maintain control of this field as Lynott getting a great push by Brenner and Volpis as they go into turn 1.
Outside lane, you can see Jax Duvall trying to make it work. Malarkey, though, he is the 4th car on the inside lane. That's the guy we want to see push through. Thomas Pierce giving him a push. Outside lane now, finally forming up, and you can see Owens, Angle, Brandon Shelton, part of that group as well, trying to make their way through. About to be side by side. This is Duvall and this is Lynott. Duvall only here to help his friend Kyle Lynott win. Side by side, and they are not at full speed right here.
I mean, the thing about Duvall
Not
right now,
at
yeah.
full speed.
No, they are not. Man, but he is here to help Lynott. But when you see that checker flag in front of you and you're in 1st or 2nd place, easier said than done to not go for it for yourself.
Look at the problems it's causing on the inside lane.
Oh, Rose bails
them
out.
Not being full speed.
Oh, Rose, get in there. This is frustrating for the rest of the field, and you see Landry already has had enough, saying, "Let's go to the top. Screw this, guys. I'm not waiting."
Wow. Lots of confusion, lots of
Angle.
congestion. Look at now, Owens making his way up. Duvall, Owens, Lynott. Outside lane, finally making it work. Zach Angle, Brandon Shelton, Justin Malarkey. They'd love to get around this Gulf Coast wall.
So it looks like Gulf Coast was just being a little bit too greedy trying to control that inside lane, and that's what checked up the field behind them. Now Lynott pokes to the top to try to lead that lane in front of Zach Angle. Angle had the lead of that outside lane, and they were making good progress. Lynott trying to slow it down there, maintain control for his team. This is going to get messy if they continue to do this.
Yeah, they are definitely on there talking about fuel, talking about controlling both lanes, and I think we're going to see an accordion again. Look right there, Thomas.
Oh my
Pierce,
goodness.
skip car back. They are
Lynott
just
and
jamming
Angle.
the field shut. 3 wide. This is going to blow it.
I mean, that was just Lynott just with 2 or 3 enormous blocks on Zach Angle, and Angle getting left out to dry at the end of it. That was very aggressive by Lynott right
3 wide, and you can see Medina coming around the outside. He's got Maurer on the inside. The 47 of Zach Angle still moving backwards after that foolishness. Outside lane, making it work right now, and that's Brandon Shelton. He's trying to get through, but Kyle Lynott still going to hold on
Oh, no.
with the energy. Oh, more contact. Look at Lynott get loose.
there. Oh my goodness.
Creative side drafting right there.
For lack of a better word, indeed. That was a close call between the 2 of Shelton and the 988 of Lynott coming together right on the entrance of the corner. You saw how loose that made the 988. Man, if Lynott had spun that thing out, that would have taken a lot of the field with him.
That's the 3rd time we've seen Duvall push a little bit too hard. First 2 times caused contact. Lynott.
Oh, no!
and
Jared
they're
Kelly!
back.
Oh boy. Oh. Hold
Saved
on to
by
it.
Kelly.
No.
Oh, no, not quite. And there goes Landry. Landry around.
What is
Gerald
that?
Rose.
There goes the 23.
54 Medina in that. The 23 again. And it's going to stay green somehow. That is off the racing surface. We are still green as Shelton, I almost called him Blake Shelton, Brandon Shelton going to lead them to the, oh my gosh, and it's still the inside there. Malarkey getting left out to dry on the outside. Malarkey has done an incredible recovery, getting all the way back up to the front of this field as they are now separated a ton. There are 2 main packs now due to that incident, and there is so much separation between them. With only 7 laps to go, I don't even know if that's enough time to reform that into one big group.
11 cars in that lead group. You can see 8 in that next group. They're 3 wide. Rose with Puckett and Maury. Puckett now trying to close on the outside, making it work as that group shuts down. 11 cars, though, with that breakaway. And then you can see these other 8 cars trying to make it work. Behind them, Medina and Mandela trying to close up into that gap. But that accident with no caution, that could have changed the entire outlook of this race. Brandon Shelton on the outside looking in, now finds himself battling with Lynott, Duvall, Owens, Chris Smith. What a run for the 37 Chevrolet up there in 5th. That's your top 5.
And that second group of Zerwick, looks like Sarah and Puckett is anything but organized. These guys are, oh, and around goes Puckett into Zerwick, into Tommy Fox, or into the 77. Oh my God.
Upside down.
Puckett upside down, up and over. The car's just not checking up in the slightest. Absolutely terrible lacks of checkup there. Horrible.
And look at this.
checking
Pits
up
are
there.
closed, and the 251 bringing it in. He's
A Shea
screaming
in that
something
one.
about second effing week in a row. I think that car is meatballed. Lead group have got to be upset, though. They were breaking away and happy, but now it's going to all close back up.
Who's using the colorful language?
Rose in the 251. He ran top 10. He was top 10 at Indianapolis, part of a wreck. Took him out, and then again, looked like he was running top 10 here, and another wreck eats him alive. Tough week to be a rookie.
Yeah, and there's phases to this, me and Gene. Another league I'm in. I'm always seeming to be running, Dalton can attest this, I'm always running top 10, sometimes top 5, but I don't have a single damn finish to show for it.
Yeah,
so,
yep.
But yeah, let's talk about that wreck. First of all, like I was saying, that group was just so disorganized. They were so, I mean, for lack of a better word for me, greedy. They were not able to figure anything out, and really what they need to be doing was getting single file and seeing if they could somehow catch that lead group. Instead, creating a pretty big accident, and then the lacking of checking up, just completely inexcusable after that wreck. I saw numerous cars. I'm not going to say any names because I'm sure our admin will do enough of that in the Discord this week, but I saw cars blasting through there at 150 plus. That's just cannot happen. I know it's easier said than done when you see a wreck before that doesn't bring out a caution, and it's so easy to assume, well, hell, maybe this one won't either, but you can't do that. You can't do that.
You can't take the risk. You can't take the risk.
It's there's nothing, I mean, genuinely, I can tell you this from very many leagues I've been in, there's nothing that's going to piss off a league admin more than not checking up at the end of a big wreck.
You know what? I'll tell you what got mixed up there is it seemed like that first wreck, you know, that left a lot of cars with damage, and a lot of the guys who were coming up on it probably were kind of just trying to figure out, I think, who had damage, who they could work with. I know I was following along with Jared Kelly. His whole front, you know, nose was bent in, and he still had guys kind of coming up behind him like, all right, can I work with you? And realizing like, okay, that car's not going to move, and then they kind of had to navigate that, you know. So it was just a lot of trying to figure things out there.
That is a really, really common thing to happen, and oftentimes it takes like a full lap to figure it out, right? Because there's that big draft differential in speed. You catch him, you're behind him for about a lap, and you say exactly that, Dalton. You're like, wait a minute, we're not going anywhere, are we? I gotta bail out of here.
It looks like Tommy Fox is going to be your lucky dog. He is bringing it around. Really exciting news for the playoff contender. So 26 cars now will be on the lead lap.
Yeah, and I got my eye on still guys like Zach Engel, still in 13th place, one of our playoff contenders, trying to find his way into these playoffs. He is where he wants to be. He's doing a good job so far. And Brandon Shelton, this guy, he is up front week after week, normally in our top 5. And here he is with a chance to win a race in the BRL at Talladega. I believe we'll have, I'm thinking 2 to go, so it's going to be our first attempt at a green-white checkered. We are allowed 3 of these, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 of these in the BRL. So this will be the first of 3 if necessary. If we get to the white flag, the next flag will end the race. So normally that is the checkered flag. So if you're Brandon Shelton, what you're really trying to do is race to that white flag. That so often feels like the checkered. But if we do not get to that white flag, we will reset it and run this thing back another 2 times. And if we get to that 3rd time and a caution comes out at any point, that will end the race. So
if I'm Brandon Shelton, he really needs to think about where he wants to start, because that second row is going to be Duval and Owens, and Duval has shown how hard he'll push somebody.
He's going to go with the outside.
If I'm Shelton, I would not be in front of Duval. I agree. I would pick the outside, get in front of Owens. I think it's going to be a little bit less of a bumpy ride, and then take your chances with Duval pushing Lynott. You've already seen Duval push Lynott sideways. You don't want to be the guy that's Tokyo drifting here at 190 messing around.
This feels like a lose-lose for that 2 of Shelton, too, because no matter what he does, he's lining up in front of 2 Gulf Coast cars. Inside or outside, that's his destiny. So that's a brutal one. Oh, go ahead.
How about a little further back? How about Chris Smith in the 37?
Yes, I was about
He's
to bring
having
him
a
up.
heck of a great day. That's that 37. He is up there in 5th, 6th place at the moment. Other non-Gulf Coast Folcom drivers, Justin Malarkey, Thomas Pierce, Christopher Smurrell. Good to see him good up in the top 10. And how about William Hewitt? Again, first day here on the course, already looking at a top 10.
And how often is that 5th place where we find Chris Smith right now just the catbird seat at these races when so much can happen in front of you? I mean, I think we saw earlier this year at a play track where I think it was 7th or 8th and coming out with the win. We saw in the Daytona 500 in the Cup Series this year, 8th place going to turn 3, ended up winning that race. So by no means is 5th place out of this one. And another benefit, I think, for Shelton, sometimes it's a little bit more straightforward when you don't have to worry about your teammates, right? All Shelton has to do is just go out here and win this thing.
It's like bullet trajectory. If I'm Chris Smith, I'm looking at the angle that Jax Duvall goes in the turn and just try to avoid the carnage.
Yep, I completely agree. You got to have your head in a swivel here as we line it up for our first overtime restart. We'll see if this is the first of many or the only one we'll be doing today. It's going to be that 2 on the outside as our control car, leading them to green as we get closer to the Geico restart zone. Brandon Shelton going to get on the gas there with a pretty good jump. Lynott and the 84 of Duvall with an exceptional jump on the inside as well. Already going to draw even with the 2.
Yep.
And look at Owens taking a 3 wide right away.
3 wide, David Owens.
What a move.
Owens did not wait at all. We are 3 wide. Here comes Pierre's. Oh, Shelton goes to the bottom. He went from 1st to 5th in under about 2 seconds right there. I don't know how great of a move that was by Owens. We'll see how much momentum that top line can gather up here as Lynott driving away in the sunset with his teammate pushing him.
He's going to have his boy David Brenner giving him a push. Joe Volpus right behind them. So those top 3 cars are Gulf Coast team. They should stay together. You can see Brenner tries to let off. He pushes Owens too high, goes 3 wide there. Volpus stays with Owens below them. Pierce trying to push David Brenner up front, though. Kyle Lynott, this is the game plan. This is how they drew it up in the boardroom. Kyle Lynott getting pushed by Jax Duvall. Behind them, Chris Smith having the day of his life. Malarkey and Shelton on the outside. Chris Smith gets eaten alive by those 2 cars up front. Not Duvall behind them. Malarkey and Shelton. Chris Smith on the outside. Christopher Smurrell coming up. And now Matthew Smith as well. That's your top 7. But look at Lynott and Duvall pulling away.
Keys on the
Well,
counter.
gone.
I believe these boys are checking out. They are gone. We'll see if a massive light run is able to form behind them, but I don't think there's enough time. Malarkey wanted Smith to go up with him. He was poking his nose out saying, let's go, buddy, and Smith just didn't go. They weren't able to get as big of a run as they needed to, and out of 4 they go.
Engine's blown!
And oh my gosh, Duvall blows his motor. Lynott has no help. Here comes the 7-3 Malarkey with a massive run. What does Lynott do here? Does he throw the block? He does. Malarkey to the outside. It's a side-by-side finish. I think that was Malarkey. I can't tell. Was that Malarkey?
That was 3 wide. This
Malarkey.
is
Just
the
Lord.
He gets it done. What an unbelievable finish. What an unbelievable finish. What drama. Duvall blew his engine out of 4, giving the hardest possible pushes he could to the 98. That's exactly how you blow an engine. And then the 988 left out to dry with no help at all. And you had Brandon Shelton giving him the push of a life to get Malarkey across the finish line. What was that? What was that differential, guys?
3/1000th of a second.
Unbelievable.
Closest finish in Premier Cup history.
Unbelievable. I'm going to take my hat off to Kyle Lynott. He had every right to throw that block, but he didn't wreck them both. I like that from Lynott. Look at that on screen, boys. That is unbelievable. What a finish. I am borderline speechless right now.
My jaw's on
Yeah.
the floor, man.
If Gulf Coast could have kept one more guy, if Duvall could have stayed up front with
Jared.
him, we wouldn't have this. But all of a sudden, you get
Let's go
this
all the way back, Jared.
opportunity, and Malarkey just found the right teammate as he's pushed up there. Look at this replay.
I want to see that coming out of 4 and just watch Duvall go up and smoke here. And so what caused, there he goes Duvall doing the right thing as well. He could have just gone on the racing line, but he didn't. And oh my goodness, I can't imagine what's going through that 980. Its head right there.
I'll tell you what. This is like, if you've ever seen Cars, the movie Cars, when Lightning McQueen in that first race, he blows all his tires out, and he's just, come on, I gotta get to the line, I gotta get to the line. That's what's going through Lot's head right there.
And here's the moment for Malarkey saying, "Wait a minute, what?" And there goes Duvall. And again, Duvall, he could have stayed in the racing line there, and he didn't. And hats off to him for that. And here comes here he comes, and you got to wait for the last possible second. Kyle shows where he's gonna go, does the most he can, and that's just a class act by Kyle Lynott right there to not ruin anybody's race. And Malarkey, with legitimately not a millisecond to spare, gets it done. Unbelievable. One last angle I'd love to see. Let's ride on board with Jax Duvall coming out of 4.
You want to see it blow up?
I want to see his temp gauges. I want to see if I'm assuming in his mind, he's thinking it's going to blow up, but who cares? Hopefully it blows up closer to the start finish line, right?
Yeah, because you see that oil temp going up. You see that temp going up.
Yeah, it's I've been there a million times. I've blown it coming to the start finish line before. It blew right out of 4. Wow.
And that's the other thing. If it blows up like even a millisecond later, Lynott wins this race. Like that is like the difference.
Oh, 100%. If there's a millisecond in any direction, we have a different winner to this race. Just
Wow.
That's what makes racing so freaking cool. And oh my God, someone died right there. Those are the finishes that you dream about, right?
Leclerc, he finally gets it.
Leclerc.
All right, so final standings as we're coming out. Looks like Justin Malarkey does take the win over Kyle Lynott. Brandon Shelton third. Christopher Smorrell in 5th. William Hewitt first race with the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. Hewitt gonna take 5th place. 6th place, Chris Smith, best finish of his season. Congratulations. Zach Engel 7. Needed that for the playoffs. Nate Maurer 8. Matthew Smith 9th. And Rookie of the Year, Ricky Mandela, gonna finish in 10th. Really exciting racing.
Yeah, great job there. A lot of guys who really fought back, never said die, and got the finishes to reward them for it. We got Brenner in 11th. We got Owens in 12th. So that's what that 3-wide move coming to the initial restart did for him. Got him out the top 10. Pierre's 13th. Neil 14th. Volpis 15th. Sarah Medina. That's David Medina in 17th. Chowdhury in 18th. Schofield 19th. Mark Dumont rounding out our top 20 in this race.
Cervic 21. Tommy Fox back on the lead lap. Going to get 22. Jared Kelly with that damage. Yeah, he and Rose, who got that meatball, definitely killed when Puckett came down and made contact with that car, bringing out that caution. Stiers, Leclerc. Duvall still finished 24th with a blown engine. Good for him. And
Yeah,
then
not
Leclerc final car on the lead lap. 26 cars finishing on the lead lap. Wow.
Huh.
Oh, I'm getting a message right now about the playoffs.
Oh.
Top 12 are going to make the playoffs, right?
Yes, sir.
So we think about how that's going to work out.
And there it is.
And there it is. And this seems clear cut, but guess what? It's not clear cut. This news coming in: 4 drivers will not be able to participate because of outside problems, because of conflicts.
Who are those
Jared
4?
Kelly, Jason Landry, and Kevin Kyle all will be attending a race, and they will not be able to participate because they will miss a race in the playoffs. So the 3 of them have decided to step down. Brandon Shelton, also, he is a first responder, and Brandon Shelton will not be able to participate in the entirety of the playoffs. And because of that, those 4 drivers have decided to allow other drivers to step in and participate, since those drivers will be full-time participants. And here's where it gets really fascinating. The 12th and final spot was a tie
Wow.
between Sam Milliken, Edgar Peltz, and Matt Schofield. But because of the best finish of the year, Sam Milliken is going to take that 12th and final spot.
Wow. That is
4
dramatic.
guys.
That's a shame to hear about those guys not able to compete in the playoffs. I understand as well, though. Kind of the brutal
Heavy
part, I
hitters.
think. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying those are some heavy hitters that are going to be gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, Jared Kelly was number 2. Landry was number 4.
Definitely the rough part of a league on a Sunday, I guess. But hey, I will be at that race with those boys, so I get it. I'll miss you guys next Sunday, by the way. And but yeah, this is what we have on screen is the 12 after those 4 have pulled out. So one thing that sticks out to me that I'm happy to see is Kyle Lenot, even without getting that W, gets his way into the playoffs because he was in the outside looking in coming into today. But yeah, that really does kind of flip the playoff situation upside down. We had Kelly and Landry circled as contenders. One of the guys who we felt like really had something for David Medina. Now we're going to have to look at guys like Brenner, Volpis, Owens. I mean, really, Malarkey, anyone in this group can get it done. But certainly a big twist there.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Ricky Mandela. We got a rookie making his way into that
Yeah,
top
congrats
12.
to him.
So Mandela is going to be representing all of the rookies in that. And how about Tommy Fox? Really having a good year. We've seen him up in some top 10 situations, and now Tommy is rewarded by his diligence and grinding with a playoff appearance. So bravo to him. Zach Engel, Christopher Smorrow. Really some really fun names up there, but you know how it is. We said the big 3, and now there's one, and he's still at the top, regular season champion David Medina. It's going to be a struggle to pull that guy off the top of that mountain.
Yeah, it kind of takes an unpredictable track like Talladega to give Dave Medina a bad day, does it not? We saw it today. And that is the final standings there of our regular season. Dave Medina does capture that regular season championship, so congratulations to him. Kelly coming in second place, Brenner third. So yeah, Brenner, I'm gonna have my eye on him as we enter these playoffs, and it's gonna be a game of consistency, just like it was in this regular season. And even with Medina's dominance, it was still pretty close. Still only 30 points separating Brenner and Medina. So anything can happen here as we enter really the intense and very, very dramatic part of this season. But yes, guys, an amazing race today. I really don't think you can ask for anything more out of a Talladega race. First of all, we got clean green flag racing for a large chunk of this thing, which is always a great time at a
green
play
flag
track.
Pit stop. That's
green
fun.
flag pit stops, always fun. Really, really fun to see those guys be challenged in that way. And then we got the mayhem that Talladega always seems to deliver at the end of the race. And I'm glad we got it, because what it resulted in was one of the greatest finishes that we've ever gotten to see.
The greatest, right? The closest, at least.
Technically the greatest, and I'm going to go ahead and say in terms of the drama and what happened there at the end, that probably is the greatest, especially that we've gotten to do here in this specific BRL league. Absolutely incredible. So, any more thoughts before we head over to our Phoenix live stream in just about half hour's time from you here, Dalton?
No thoughts. Head empty. Great finish though. That was just absolutely nuts. Once again, my jaw is just on the floor at that as we're getting the kind of slow-mo replay of it again. I can't believe what I just saw.
Just unbelievable. As here we go as we wait for them to cross the start finish line and the closest finish in Bonfire Racing League history. And man, how spoiled were we today? What about you, Mean Gene? What's going through your head right now, if anything?
Well, I think a couple of things walking away. Congratulations to all the playoff drivers. Congratulations to Justin Malarkey picking up the dub. Biggest things I'm looking forward to moving forward, of course, the playoffs, is the perspective changes in the rules, which is going to limit the drivers to having 4 people in those Discord channels. It's going to be hard to regulate. You're going to have to literally make sure that they're in the channel, because I know teams also have their own personal Discord. So if you choose not to join the Bonfire Discord, there could be 11 of you chilling over in the Joe Bob Racing Team Discord, or the George Collins Racing Machine, or the Fred Owens team, whatever. So it'll be a little bit more pressure on Kevin, Kyle, the admin, just to check in, make sure those boys are playing by the rules. But I think once you have 4, one thing it'll take away is those weird accordions that we had when we saw Gulf Close just parade lapping in the front row, causing those tight incidents. But other than that, exciting race, and I love seeing the green flag pit stops. You know, that really separates the wheat from the chaff as far as the skill level of those guys going in. It spreads the field out even more, and just shows exactly the talent level of these drivers. Looking forward to next week as we're going to go into the first round of the playoffs. Ow! And there's our French-Canadian friend ending his day.
Yep, and Bristol of all places next week, so we're going to start the playoffs off with a bang, are we not? Just like Leclerc did there. But yeah, I agree about the Discord point there, me and Gene. I think it has, there's definitely some beneficial things to having Discord groups that big, but in my opinion, one thing it also seems to do
you have
sometimes,
race chat to communicate, though.
Exactly. And if you're new to a league, not everyone enjoys being
that
in
was
Discords
that
are
was
huge.
the one right there. That was brutal.
That
Look at him
hit
upside
was
down.
enormous. That is our T-bone moment of the race right there. And there's the second one.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Puckett just came right down. There was no space. Puckett came down and
Massive
bada bing,
hit.
bada boom.
But yeah, it definitely, I think, can create less of a welcoming environment when you have those giant Discord groups and you know you're going up against that. It can feel like an inner circle. There's a lot of things that I think aren't super beneficial. So I think that's an amazing move by Kevin Kyle, and I think you're going to see the racing improve pretty immediately with that rule change.
Whoa, look at that in-car with Puckett. Whoa.
He needs some Dramamine. I don't know how to say it. That one that makes you less nauseous.
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
I did it? Hell yeah. I'm proud of myself
you got
there.
it at the end. Fentanyl, right? That makes you less
Oh.
mad.
Me and Gene, you've had that on the brain today. What was your Saturday night like?
Oh, I don't want to talk. I lost.
Oh my
Been out of sleep.
goodness, look at Puckett go. But that
I know.
really
And
is a
you know what's
summary
funny
of
is
the second half
Rose
of the
came
race.
through that thing scot-free, but he made contact with Landry, lost his left front.
Ugh. It always seems like you get through the bad one first, and then the small little repercussions are what end up taking you out.
Poor Jake O'Shea. You could see that left front right there just shot.
Yep. Only butchered your name once today, O'Shea. Very proud of that. I'm gonna get better every week, guys, about the names. But amazing race today. Super honored to be here and had a great time. Jared, if you could pull up the watch along one more time, make sure to scan that. Come watch Phoenix with us. Gonna be a lot of fun. We got William Byron on the pole, Mr. 3-time next to him on the front row. We're gonna having a great time. We got everyone here. Dalton could even be here for the full race this time and doesn't have to leave with like 10 to go and
No
move
way.
all himself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
believe
I'll
it or
be
not.
there. I'll be there. Zach will be there. Me and Gene will be there. Jared will be there. I think Kevin. But most importantly, I'll be there.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly. And Buddy Solly. Don't forget Buddy Solly.
Never forget Buddy Solly.
Oh, just the greatest man. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Come hang out with us. Jared will probably drink a gallon of milk again. Gonna have to every time now, Jared. But it's gonna be a great time. I'm super excited every week. It's so much fun getting to do this broadcast first and then going to do that live stream with you guys. Really, I've not ever had more fun watching a NASCAR race. So come hang out with us, and yeah, we'll give away some stuff too. If there's enough of you guys, we'll do some hilarious contests that I come up with, like that last race last week revolved around Todd Gilliland for us, for no reason whatsoever. For no reason. I mean, he dominated Joe Logano at the end of the race. He just completely just took Joe Logano's lunch at the end of the race. Great job by Todd.
It's like how real life, and then real life was captured in our race too, because the Pennzoil scheme just took it right in the rear.
Yeah, that's the problem about when you run schemes that were recently in trouble. Me and G.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, I know this scenario. I know
Exactly.
the assignment."
This is normal, but I'm excited for that one, guys. It's gonna be a great time. Awesome track. I know people have their opinions on Phoenix, but I can tell you if you go there in person, it's an incredible facility, and I think it's a great racetrack. So I'm excited to hang out there. Well, there's nothing like Talladega, and that's what we got today. Phenomenal race. The closest finish in Bonfire Racing League history. Was honored to be able to call that with an amazing booth, an amazing producer. So thank you to Jared Kelly, Dalton Geyer, Mean Gene Money, Animal House Customs, our amazing sponsors, all the other great people who helped make this league possible. Kevin Kyle, the admin of BRL, Dennis Puckett, the owner of this league, Bokum Racing, another one of our sponsors. and Vortex Racing Network, where you will be finding all the action from this league and many others next season. Thank you to everybody, and this will be one that we won't be forgetting anytime soon. What an incredible race and an incredible finish, and thank you all for tuning in to the Bonfire Race League. We will see you all next Sunday at the last great Coliseum.